Welcome back to Spoken Language Lesson 4. This is part 2. So we're going to have a look in a little bit more detail about how you break down pathos, because you've looked at some examples from adverts and you've also pulled out some of the forecast features. Now, when we're writing pathos, you can look at it and divide pathos into two smaller sections. So remember, with ethos, we divided it into 3. Here, pathos, we really work on 2. And what we do is we describe a world, a life, an environment, or someone's shoes where it's the worst. And then we can get people to picture a better world, a positive. So we work on those 2 scales. So I want to show you an example of pathos in something a little bit longer than an advert. So this letter was sent to me back in 2014, and you can see it's even got my maiden name on there. And all I'd like you to do is have a read of it and look at the pathos features, because it's very heavily using pathos to persuade me to give to the Dogs Trust charity. So the first one for me to draw your attention to is this one here. She was shot and tossed in the river. So this one, interesting, it uses 2 verbs. Remember I said emotion can be shown through the verb choices, and tossed, that use of like thrown away like garbage, is really strong, and shot as well, as you know, that's the image of violence. And she's not an it either, so I think it's interesting there, that pronoun she makes the puppy seem more real. So individual word choices have a massive impact on pathos. The other one I'm going to pick up on, before I ask you to do the same for the rest of the letter, is the use of pathetic fallacy and how specific they are. So look at this bit here. One bleak morning. Now, we've studied Jekyll and Hyde, we've studied in the spectacles, we've studied lots of things that create and use, pathetic fallacy, which is when the weather reflects the mood. So interesting that they do that here. Bleak, sad, it's cloudy, it's moody, immediately telling you through the weather how we're meant to feel about what happened. And they use January, so they're actually being very specific about the event that they're going to talk about, the anecdote, the story they're going to tell you. So your second task, you can see that I've picked 3 there. Your second task is to do the same. So apart from those 3 that I've picked up, can you label any more pathos features that really try and pull on our heartstrings? Notice what I've done here. So even though I've put boxes around them, I want you to also label with a text box what specifically you notice about that. So it might be a feature or a word that really draws your attention. So for example, I talked about the pathetic fallacy, the specific time of the year. I talked about the verb, I talked about the pronoun. So try and be as specific as you can. And just to talk about this last one here to help you out, I picked this one for 2 reasons. One, abandoned is a really strong verb that makes me feel really sad, someone that's been left. So it makes me think of abuse and negatively treated. And again, I picked up on how specific the place was. I talk a lot about being specific. This makes it real when you give hard facts, and they name the river. And I think just like January, it's important to give facts as well, to make it real for the reader. Okay, so let's see how many you managed to find in the rest of the letter.